Well, this was unexpected. If you haven't heard, Konami released a brand new ban list for speed duels, and genuinely, I was not expecting them to do this whatsoever. Low-key, I kind of just expected them to completely forget about speed duels and just, like, you know, let it off in a quarter right there and just don't even worry about it. But no, they actually just ended up giving us a brand new list that's going to be legal for the North American WCQ. So that should be pretty cool. And I actually did end up taking a look at it already. I ended up seeing this on the Speed Duel League Discord server. If you are unfamiliar with it, there's going to be a link in the description below so you can go check them out. They do a lot of great work. But yeah, and actually I'm not too mad about the changes they ended up making on this list. They did quite a few hits, and I kind of just want to go and talk to you guys about that and my thoughts about each of the hits they ended up doing. All right, so with that being said, let's go and take a quick look. All right then, guys, so in true Konami fashion, finding the ban list itself is pretty difficult. So in order to do that, you have to go to the Konami website. Then on here from the general information tab, you have to go to public event information. Keep scrolling. You have to scroll for a bit, and then you get, where is it at? There we go. You get the new speed duel ban list here. The thing that sucks the most is the fact that the way they have it laid out right here makes it very difficult to tell what is new on the ban list if you weren't already familiar with the original ban list. So luckily for us, Keebler from the Speed Duel library ended up making a very nice graphic for us demonstrating what exactly got hit from this list. I'm going to show you on the screen real quick if you want to take a look at it to go ahead and get an idea of what exactly got hit. All right, so let's actually talk about that. There was only one card that got hit to 1 on this new list, and that is Amazoness Onslaught. And I've just gotta say, thank goodness. This card is just so unbelievably frustrating to play with, play against, I mean. And making it be forced to 1 copy per deck makes it a lot more manageable. There's nothing worse than being able to deal with 1 copy of it just to get hit with a second one. Card's incredibly powerful, incredibly oppressive, and given just how back row gets hit in speed duels, you know, cards like MST being at 1, we have the Cosmic Cyclone at 3. Two of the best forms of back row removal being pretty much restricted, it makes it very difficult to deal with the Amazoness Onslaught. So it being moved to 1, I think it's very fitting. And yeah, you know, I like that hit, especially for the fact that Amazoness Onslaught compared to a lot of the other cards in speed duels feels really out of place just because of how powerful it is. So as a whole, really like this hit. All right, moving on to the Limit 2 list now, we have Battle City Bestie. And okay, this is a really, really good hit. Battle City Bestie is hands down the best skill in the game right now for any deck you want to play, just because it's so generically incredible. It's so like it's a skill that punishes your opponent for doing stuff on their turn, which is really, really annoying to deal with. And forcing this skill to be put onto 2 list, it makes it more balanced, just because there's a lot of really good stuff on the Limit 2 section that if a deck really wants to play this skill, they're gonna have to choose between a lot of other great cards in order to get access to this skill. And I think that's a fair trade-off. Battle City Bestie is fundamentally a really unfair skill in the way that it works, and even in low power formats it can still feel extremely oppressive and pretty much puts your opponent in a game of chicken whether or not they want to give you the draw to go ahead and move forward in the duel. One thing is for sure, this skill had to have gotten some form of restriction, so happy to see that. The other limitation that I want to go ahead and mention here in the Limit 2 section is Amazoness Call, another hit for the Amazoness deck. And man, Amazoness as a whole got hit really hard on this list. It's not the only deck that got hit hard, but having Amazoness Call go to 2 makes a lot of sense to me as well. Amazoness was a hyper consistent deck. The Amazoness Princess could search out for the important cards like the Onslaught. Not only that, but the Amazoness Call could search out for the Onslaught or the Amazoness Princess. And to top things off, the deck could also play Rhoda in the deck in order to search out the Princess, which made the deck hyper consistent and really, really rough to play against. So I do think that having Call and Rhoda being in Limit 2 at the same time is very fair. However, this makes it a lot tougher just because of the fact that if you want to play Battle City Bestie in this deck, you are pretty much restricted to only playing one copy of Call if you want that recursion or just that consistency as a whole. So really rough hit, I'm not gonna lie, but it makes sense to me. The hyper consistency being cut makes the deck a lot more manageable to deal with. So I think that's a fair hit. A bit much, but I don't know. I can definitely see it. The other hit on the Limit 2 section is Monster Reborn. And this is an interesting one, just because low-key, I was expecting this one to get hit to 1. Monster Reborn is an incredibly powerful revival spell. Pretty much being able to revive anything from either player's graveyard is absolutely insane. And this was definitely a card that had to get hit. Again, I thought it was going to hit to 1 with cards like the Nightmare Wheel and Zoma, you know, really powerful staples, Floodgate, and it kind of felt like it jived with those cards. So I'm a bit surprised it's at 2 as opposed to being at 1 or even banned. Banned would have been a bit much, or I guess it would have given Premature Burial a lot more breathing room as like a more of a staple revival spell. But again, Monster Reborn getting hit is a good thing. So glad to see Monster Reborn hit, definitely very much warranted. All right, let's move on to the Limit 3 section. And yeah, already we see another skill get hit. See Me Rolling. Oh my goodness. Duke got his skill hit. And I'm just so happy to see that I've been vindicated on my whole opinion that Duke's skill was gonna be good. I knew that having a reroll chance on Snipe Hunter is a pretty damn good skill just because of the fact of Snipe Hunter having had such a high chance of actually getting the pop. And I'm really happy to see that that came to fruition. This is more than fair to me, I think. See Me Rolling is incredibly impressive. Next to Battle City Bestie, I think it's like the next best skill in the game currently. Just for the very fact that being able to re-roll for Snipe Hunter is absolutely insane. And at that, being able to search out the Snipe Hunter makes it to where you're able to get shit going immediately. Definitely deserving of its Limit 3 section. Moving on the list, we see Amazona's Princess, another hit to the Amazona's deck, and Konami was going hard on Amazonas. They have Battle City Bestie, they have the Princess, they have the Amazona's Call. That's a lot of hits for the deck, and I don't know how good Amazonas is going to be after this list. I'm sure it's going to be still a very playable deck. I forgot to mention Onslaught being put to 1. I'm sure the deck is going to be still playable just for the very fact that it has a lot of really good stuff in it, but it's going to be a shell of what it used to be. But crazy how hard Amazonas got hit. Let's see what else we got here. Doom Caliber Knight getting hit to 3. This is an interesting one just because I've been seeing that Doom Caliber Knight's been being played in a lot of different decks. I primarily see it being played in both the Ever Faithful Companion deck or the Dark Magician deck and the Advent of Ra deck or the Winged Dragon of Ra deck as like a really good normal summon for the strategy to go ahead and just chill on. And I can definitely see why Konami went ahead and restricted this card. Again, it's a really powerful normal summon being at 1900 attack points and having a monster negate. Granted, it is a tricky monster negate to work with just because it negates the first monster effect so you can bait it out. But in speed duels, it's not as easy as you may think to bait out like negates like that just because of the fact that you aren't able to special summon as much as you would like, and a lot of the time getting a good normal summon in is really important. So the Doom Caliber Knight puts you in check with that to kind of just prevents you from popping off and doing anything really important. Examples of that could be like the Amazonas deck. You normal summon Princess, Doom Caliber Knight's in the field, it negates that and pops to eat both monsters. So I think I can definitely see why Konami decided to put this at 3. It seems like a very good staple monster, but aside from that, let me know in the comment section below, am I missing anything else from it? I'm a little surprised, but I can see the argument for it. Okay, now here's the card that I did want to talk about. Snipe Hunter. My goodness. This is part of the reason why I'm happy with that See Me Rolling got hit to 3. Snipe Hunter and See Me Rolling are definitely a duo that has to have gotten hit in the same limitation, I think, just for the very fact that Snipe Hunter having the ability to pop anything you want as long as you have the cards in hand is busted. It's so good and can pretty much take you out of a duel like that, like so easily. And yeah, this card had to have gotten hit. Extremely unfun to play against, extremely unfun to get pretty much Snipe Hunter. Like, it's bad, it's so bad. And again, that's what I was mentioning earlier when I was talking about See Me Rolling. having the Snipe Hunter be able to reroll once is insane, just because you have like a 66% chance of landing the die roll, which is pretty damn high. You're going to be landing it more often than not. And in the off chance that you don't hit, you pretty much get another shot with semi rolling. So really happy to see those two cards getting hit together. So after Snipe Hunter, we have Tribe Infecting Virus, which I think is a card that is definitely worthy to being in the ban list, but I am surprised that it saw enough play to get hit on the ban list. As a whole, I'm not super invested into the competitive format of speed duels, but I am familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh's history, and I know Tribe Infecting Virus for a very long time got hit the banned in the TCG. So seeing it be reflected here in speed duels makes a lot of sense to me. Having the ability to nuke a board, essentially being discarding and then just calling something, is very, very powerful. I didn't think it was going to be that effective in speed duels because a lot of the decks you do see are piles, but I guess the more fleshed out strategies like Amazonas are warrior centric. That's like one of the big ones that I can see Tribe Infecting Virus being very effective against. But I think it's Tribe Infecting Virus probably fits in the same boat as the Doom Caliber Knight, a very powerful staple monster that any deck can essentially play if they really wanted to. Oh boy. So if you know anything about me, I love Volcanic. I tried really hard to making Volcanic work in speed duel. It still needs a bit to function, but Volcanic Shell is back on the list. My poor boy. And yeah, I get it. I understand why. With cards like Tribe and Snipe Hunter being in the format, it makes sense. Being able to discard Shell, search another Shell, being able to discard again, it's unfun, it's unfair, it's bad. I get it. It's bad. You know what? I think that Semi Rolling got hit worse than Amazonas just now, just for the very fact that the skill, the main monster, and the recursion fodder got all hit in the same list. So it's very difficult to do anything. So I guess like moving forward, the Snipe Hunter deck is going to be playing like one Semi Rolling, two Snipe Hunters, and that's going to make it so much more fair now, just because you don't have to deal with as many copies of it. Also, they don't have the Volcanic Shell to discard. So yeah, definitely something that had to happen, but that's still rough, man. That's still rough. All right, let's see, do we have anything else on this list? Yeah, one more hit with Econ, Enemy Controller. And yep, this was definitely one of those cards that I expected to get hit, just for the very fact that Econ is going to be one of those cards that has such versatility. It's essentially a watered down version of Book of Moon, being able to switch the battle position of a monster, but it also has some more versatility just for the very fact that you can take an opponent's monster and do whatever you want with it for an entire turn. So having the versatility there is incredible. I know it's been seeing a lot of play in just random decks here and there. Definitely one of those cards that, reflecting off of what happened in Duel Links, it was at 2 forever on that game, and being on 3 here makes sense. It's just because it follows the same motif of cards like Book of Moon, or Kanadia or Saku, where it's just a really good versatile card that can be played in whatever deck you want. And if it was unhit, it would definitely be seeing a surge of play going forward. So definitely a way to keep it in check. Makes sense to me. Honestly, I don't think there's much to say about it. Okay, so I do have some thoughts regarding this list now. I am surprised that both Source of Revealing Light and Quaking Mirror Force weren't addressed whatsoever. I guess they haven't seen as much play as I expected them to see, just for the fact that I kind of expected swords to be like a really prevalent form of like stalling in the game, maybe good for burn decks. Same applies with something like Quaking, so I am kind of surprised about that. I guess another skill that I was kind of surprised that I didn't see hit at all was Ishizu's as I predicted skill. If anything, I feel like that's probably going to be the deck that's going to see a lot more play moving forward now, just for the fact that it's a really good deck. It gives your deck a lot of consistency. I can definitely see an uptick in Dark Magician decks performing well moving forward. For the most part, the deck didn't lose that much. I think Doom Caliber Knight is like the main loss for that deck, and I guess Snipe Hunter is another one. But besides that, everything else is good. There's their Karibo is still okay. Their skill was untouched, and Dark Magician, they're not going to do anything with Dark Magician. So I could definitely see that deck performing better moving forward. Aside from that, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that Odeon had a deck that was performing pretty decently well. I'm not entirely sure on which one that is. Maybe Desert Peril, I forget. But you guys can let me know. But yeah, so I can definitely see those 3 decks in particular seeing an uptick in play and being a lot more competitive moving forward with these hits that we saw today. It seems like Konami's main objective in this list was hitting the best decks currently in the format, those being the Amazon is Battle City Bestie deck and the You See Me Rolling a Snipe Hunter deck. So definitely happy to see those 2 decks getting dealt with, 2 really unfair strategies to go up against, and as a whole a lot of like they sprinkled in a few staples as well to go ahead and bounce the format a bit. But yeah, in the comments below, let me know, did you guys like the list? I'm pretty happy with it. I'm a bit surprised with some of the cards that they didn't address, but let me know in the comments, am I bugging on that? Did they not need to get hit at all? You guys probably know better than I do. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. Again, really surprised that Konami ended up releasing a Banlist at all. But yeah, also in the comments below, let me know, what deck are you going to be using moving forward in the competitive ladder? I'm excited to hear your guys' answers. And yeah, with that being said, if you guys did end up enjoying today's video and would like to support the channel, then leaving a like and subscribing is the best way of helping. Also, in the description below, I will have a link to the Speed Duel League Discord server if you want to go ahead and check out Keebler's full graphic of the new ban list, or just want to find people to duel with. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.